Hello all loonies and normals, my name is Joe Silver, welcome to my channel. This week we're going to be talking about DLC in video games. Now I may have touched on this briefly in a previous one, but that one was talking more about pay to win or free to play. That was talking about games that advertise themselves as free to play and then find out they're not actually. No, what this is talking about this week is more specifically about should they have DLC for video games, or is that a bit dirty? Is that a bit like what the heck? Well, see, let me explain. Right, I've been playing Stellaris lately. Now there is a lot of DLC for Stellaris. Now Game Paradox, so I've been told, have a habit of doing this, giving you a game and then putting features into the game and saying you can't use this feature unless you have our DLC. So you have to go and buy the DLC, and that way they get more money. But the question is, should they really be doing that? I mean, you know, the thing is, I don't really want to go to say that it's dirty. That doesn't sound right. But wouldn't it be nice to have a complete game where every feature that's within that game you can use? And then if they want to make DLC, it gives you something extra that is not already in the game. Not something that's there but you can't use it because you don't have the DLC. For example, in Crusader Kings 2, right, the DLC lets you make a ruler of your own making. So in CK2 or Crusader Kings 2, you're running a dynasty. Yeah, you're running a dynasty of people, of a family, if you will. So the Silver Dynasty, the Owl Dynasty, the Easy Prey Dynasty, blah blah blah, whatever you want, whichever name you want, take a name, yeah? You know what I mean? There are people who, you know, whose name you use, and, you know, like real people as well, like Charlemagne, so on and so forth, right? People who really existed. You're running their dynasty, you're running their family, and you have to make decisions based on that. But you can't make your own, you can't make the Silver Dynasty, for example, without DLC, because part of the DLC is Ruler Maker. It's where you can make your own ruler. You can decide what they look like, you can decide what their flag is, you can decide, you know, what their family crest is, you can decide what ethnicity they are, religion, all that lot, yeah? But you have to have DLC to do it. That should have been in the game, in the base game. That shouldn't have been DLC, in my opinion. But that's how it is. So, again, I say, when it comes to DLC, is it a case of, well, this should be in the base game, why is this DLC? Or is it a case of, well, actually this presents something extra to the game that wasn't there before? This is amazing. And you see, that's the thing. I've been buying all this DLC for Stellaris because I've been playing a lot of it. I've been getting all the DLC. In fact, I'm one DLC away from getting it all, from having it all and actually having the game as it should be. But my point is, what is your opinion on DLC? What is my opinion? And my opinion is that unless the DLC is something spectacular that was not part of the original game in any way, shape or form, that was not a feature of the original game that you're not allowed to touch because you don't have the DLC, as in it presents something extra, something amazing to the game, it should be in the base game. You shouldn't have to pay to unlock features of the base game. That's my opinion. I mean, like CK2 took 2 or 3 different DLC to get the full game. You took at least 2 to be able to start from the earliest point of the timeline and go to the last point of the timeline, right? It took another DLC to unlock picking of your ruler's focus, which again should be in the base game. It took a third DLC to be able to make your own ruler. So, you know, that's 4 or 5. You know, do you see what I mean? These are all features that probably should be in the base game, really. So, you know, there's that. But as I said, not every game does that. Some games, when they bring out DLC, what they bring out is something completely different that you've never seen before. Although there is the other side of the argument that when it comes to Subnautica, Below Zero should have been DLC as well. That in that case Below Zero should have been DLC, because it isn't. Subnautica Below Zero is a separate game all of its own, and yet there are many people saying that should have been DLC, and I agree. In that case I agree, because in that case what you're doing is not getting something that was a feature of the original game but you can't get to because you haven't got the DLC. In that case what you're getting is something completely new, and so that should have been DLC. That makes sense, and I agree with that, because it would make a lot more sense, to be honest with you, because you go through all of what happens in Subnautica, no spoilers, but you know, those of you who have played it know exactly what happens there, right? And then it would only make sense that if you've got the DLC, that after that happens, the credits roll, or a special cutscene goes along, and the events of Subnautica Below Zero begin. Yeah? That would make sense, because then it would be a continuation. Then it would be, you know, instead of it being separate, right, I have to close this game down now and start this one, it's a continuation. So that, in that case, it would make sense for it to be DLC. So that's my point. I'm not anti-DLC, but I do feel that how they handle the DLC depends on whether it's like, this is ridiculous or this is really good. That's how I feel about it, you know, because like I said, in Subnautica they definitely should have made that DLC, definitely. You know, they'd have still made their money on it, and it would have made a lot more sense. And then they could have had it so that you could pick either male or female, because I think I did something about that on a previous one about sexism, but you know, they decided that in Subnautica Below Zero the character is a woman, and you can only be a woman, by the way. In the first one you could only be a man, in the second one you could only be a woman. They still haven't let you pick which one you want to be. And okay, if that's what your choice is, that's up to you, but again, that's another vlog that I've already done, so let's not. My point is, isn't it just a bit annoying when you want to use this really cool feature of a video game, and the streamer says, oh, you can't do that, you haven't got the DLC, when you're talking to the streamer about it, obviously, you know, and they say, oh, that's a cool feature, can I do that? And they go, no, not unless you've got this DLC, you can't. No. Isn't it a bit frustrating, like, oh, for goodness sake, I've got to spend more money on it now, you know? That's what I'm saying. It's all about how they handle it, not so much the fact that they have it. Because, I mean, let's be honest, we have changed a lot from the era that I remember of video games. When I first came out to video games, DLC didn't exist. Really, early access didn't exist, or at least not really. I mean, they had demos of demo discs where you could play demos of a game, perhaps before it came out, but it wasn't really early access because it wasn't the whole game, it was just a short part of it and then it would stop. Whereas with early access you get the whole game, but it's bugged. Yeah? So early access didn't exist and so on. And when you bought a game, what you bought them in was one of these. This is how you got your games. You didn't get it by digital download. Right? That's how you did it. In one of them. So when they brought out a game, it had to be finished. It couldn't be buggy, otherwise people would complain and moan and they wouldn't make sales. pure and simply they wouldn't buy a bugged game. I mean, speedrunners might, because speedrunners rely on bugs and glitches to get them through quicker, to say, oh, I beat the game this time, but your average player wouldn't, because we want a game that is actually finished, so they had to actually finish it. So DLC didn't exist, early access didn't exist, but we have moved on from that time, and now these things are real. These things do exist, and good or bad, whatever you think of them, they exist, they're out there. So that's how it works. So my point is, that being the case, how you handle such makes a lot more difference than that they exist. I'm certainly not saying that they shouldn't exist. This is the world we live in now, that they do. What I'm saying is how they handle it. If you handle it right, DLC can be an amazing thing, well worth the money. If you handle it wrong, DLC can be just a money grab and feel like that, and you can think, why am I getting this again? What's the point in playing this game if most of the features are locked with DLC? Anyway, I have rambled on more than enough, right? I really have. So thank you so much for watching. I will be happy to hear your opinions though on DLC, and feel free to tell me what you think. If you like what you have seen here though, leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and please leave me a like and a sub if you haven't already done so. And thank you again for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I will see you next time. I have been Joe Silver. This has been a vlog,